Good day to you. This is Dr. Andrew Godperson of the Life Worlds team. Today I'd like to present you the first part of our Stop Smoking series. At the moment I'm in Dublin, the capital of Ireland. And Ireland was the first country within the EU that introduced the smoking ban. Furthermore, a pack of cigarettes cost nearly €10. So you should think that nearly no one is smoking. But if you walk around in this beautiful town, you see smokers everywhere. At the streets, in front of a pub, in front of an office, simply everywhere. That makes clear smoking is not a simple thing that you can just switch off. Smoking is a severe addiction. And the first step to quit smoking is to understand this addiction. Therefore, I would like to define the addiction in general and come into a smoking addiction, point out why and how you should accept and understand smoking as an addiction, show you the physiological process of the smoking addiction, and explain the addictive memory, and finally come to the approaches how to break the smoking addiction. Based on the definition of drug addictions by the WHO, I'd like to point out a few aspects that occur if you're addicted to smoking. And these could be: you have a strong desire to smoke, you have problems to control the amount of smoking, you have cravings, you have increased or are increasing the consumption of cigarettes, you have reduced and neglect, or you are doing so, of other areas of life because of smoking, and you carry on smoking even though it harms you. But this is the more scientific approach, which probably is more helpful, is a more practical approach, which I want to do now, coming from the general problem-solving process. So if you have a problem, you need a solution that leads to a goal. But this process can only be successful if you know and understand the problem. If not, all measures and strategies will be just on jeopardy if they lead to success or not. After you've understood your problem, you definitely need to be aware of the challenges you will face on your way to your goal. And thirdly, of course, you can only reach a goal or only find a solution if you know what is your goal and if you have clearly visualized it. Against this background, I would like to present you a few simple lines that hopefully make clear to you what a smoking addiction means in general. First of all, forget about all the scientific approaches to define an addiction. Someone who smokes is addicted. As simple as that. There's no such thing like being a little addicted or something like that. And be aware, smoking seriously harms you. And that happens from the first cigarette on. And definitely long term, you can face severe damages and illnesses. Smoking is a complex system, a multidimensional complex system, and, as mentioned earlier, a severe addiction. Therefore, to stop smoking is really hard work, so do not take it easy. But once you have stopped smoking, your life will improve massively. But to understand the addiction first, from my point of view, it is the best way to show the physiological process of the smoking addiction. So what happens when you smoke? Through the smoke, nicotine gets into your lungs. From there, nicotine gets into your blood circle, and after around about 7 seconds, the nicotine reaches your brain. And there, the brain, there it is, where the actual process happens that makes you addicted. The nicotine docks at the receptors of the nucleus accumbens, which is our physiological reward system. Originally, or actually, it should release neurotransmitters like dopamine to give us a good feeling when we eat or make love or similar fundamental behaviors or actions. Unfortunately, with the nicotine that harms us, it releases these neurotransmitters as well, and we have a good feeling, we feel rewarded, simply. And every time the level of nicotine drops, of course, then the level of neurotransmitters drops, and the addictive memory is activated, and the smoker wants to have another cigarette. That is the physiological process of smoking and the smoking addiction that leads to smoking memory. But there's more to the smoking memory than just the physiological process. During a smoking career, a smoker builds this addictive memory that always, if and when activated, pressures him to smoke, or her. The physiological dimension just shown. There's also a psychological dimension. That means during a smoking career, you've built up smoking habits. Specific states or behaviors are strongly connected or associated with smoking. And every time a smoker experiences these states or behaviors, it is the pressure to smoke, the addictive memory is reactivated. Similar to the social dimension, if you see someone smoking, click, the addictive memory gets activated and the pressure to smoke starts. Now, unfortunately, I have some bad news for you, referring the characteristics of the smoking, the addictive memory. First of all, the addictive memory is a complex system, like the whole smoking addiction. So it is not an easy thing to oversee or overlook. Secondly, the addictive memory roots deeply in the semi-conscious and subconscious, and so you cannot get rid of it. And that is what now is agreed to in science, that the addictive memory is, at least in parts, irreversible. That means you actually never get rid of an addiction. You're just stronger and can deal with it, even though you're, in this case, not smoking anymore. But now, coming to the good news at last, your physiological reward system, shown earlier, will repair itself. That means it gets back to normal and you will not face these physiological cravings your whole life. After a time, it's back to normal. But even though mentioned earlier that you cannot get rid of your addictive memory, you can be stronger by breaking your smoking habits. Therefore, you have to understand them and replace them with healthier behavioral patterns that do you really well. And that refers to the mental, behavior and social level. And what you always should keep in mind when you're on your way to stop smoking and after you've stopped smoking, it could be a really hard, and this probably will be, a really hard challenge and hard way to stop smoking. But when you have eventually reached the state of a smoke-free life, you will feel better, you will look better, you will have more energy. In one word, or one line, you have a significantly higher quality of life. At the end, I must say thank you for your attention. and point out, if you want to get more information, go to lifeworld-stop-smoking.org or visit us on Facebook. For now, I wish you all the best. Goodbye.